What is a true fact that sounds like a theory? The dolphin LSD experiment. NASA put a woman in a room that was flooded up to her hips and let a dolphin loose in there to live with her in order to attempt to teach the dolphin to speak English, and LSD was later used on the dolphin to see if it had some kind of reaction and if it affected its speech lessons. Johnson & Johnson knew there was asbestos in baby powder for 40 years. Saddam Hussein was given the key to the city of Detroit, and he didn't even try unlocking it once. What a waste. The reason only the orange variety of carrots is widely available is because the Dutch like the color orange. They leverage their powerful trade networks to make it so. I love that everything else on this thread is about assassination and biochem warfare, and then there's just the Dutch wanting everyone to think only orange carrots are available. The United States government forcibly sterilized minorities until the 1970s. 25-50% of Native American women were sterilized between 1970 and 1976. Some women were told they couldn't receive welfare unless they were sterilized first. Some were told they would no longer receive health care if they refused. Some women were told that the procedure was reversible when it was not. Some women went to the hospital for something like a tonsillectomy and were given hysterectomies while they were unconscious. It's amazing to me that this isn't widely known. This happened in Canada, on top of residential schools and the 60s scoop. More terrifying than that, it was recently revealed that doctors in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta are still doing it today. The CIA ran experiments with LSD at McGill University in Montreal. The United States conducted a fake vaccination drive to find Osama. The reason only the orange variety of carrots is widely available is because the Dutch like the color orange. They leverage their powerful trade networks to make it so. I love that everything else on this thread is about assassination and biochem warfare, and then there's just the Dutch wanting everyone to think only orange carrots are available. The egg industry as a whole embarked on a 2-year war on a single vegan mayo brand. Do go on. Generally curious now. For a long time, there were theories that the egg industry, just as a whole, wanted to take down the vegan mayo brand Just Mayo. They felt threatened by the brand since it basically tastes exactly like the real thing, but without the egg that the industry relies on. It was regarded as a theory, and there was no way the egg industry would all band together and try to take down a single vegan mayo brand. Until, in 2016, emails were leaked and showed that yeah, they were banded together and were trying to take down Just Mayo. Some of the emails showed that some of their representatives talking with a rep from Whole Foods about how they could easily pull the brand as a whole from shelves. As far as theories go, it's pretty mild, but still wild because it's freaking eggs. Years ago, the big light bulb, as I like to call them, decided to purposefully turn down the lifespan of light bulbs to sell more, and the companies who didn't agree were alienated from trading with primary sources for light bulbs. The United States government tested drugs and chemical weapons on its own soldiers and various animals during the Cold War at the Edgewood Arsenal facility. It's also where we got bulletproof vests and some vaccines. If you want to ruin your day, look up Bad Trip to Edgewood. I did my AIT in Edgewood. I remember the gas drills we were required to do. Nothing like a mop gear run. They had an incinerator somewhere in our local vicinity where they would destroy chemicals. There wasn't a single day where I didn't think about dying in some horrible fashion. Luckily no mishaps, and my time at Edgewood was just a AIT experience. General Motors bought the electric rail car system, then destroyed the tracks. The documentary Who Killed the Electric Car has a great summary of this and other things GM have done to make sure cars are the dominant form of transportation. The Monster Study. The Monster Study was a stuttering experiment performed on 22 orphan children in Davenport, Iowa in 1939. It was conducted by Wendell Johnson at the University of Iowa. Graduate student Mary Tudor conducted the experiment under Johnson's supervision. Half of the children received positive speech therapy, praising the fluency of their speech, and the other half, negative speech therapy, belittling the children for speech imperfections. Many of the normal speaking orphan children who received negative therapy in the experiment suffered negative psychological effects, and some Many of the normal speaking orphan children who received negative therapy in the experiment suffered negative psychological effects, and some retained speech problems for the rest of their lives. The FBI was constantly stalking Ernest Hemingway, and that led to his suicide. But why? He liked to travel to Cuba. Cuba even made a stamp of Hemingway. Hemingway, being extremely popular and a world-class writer, could very quickly and effectively sway public opinion if he wanted to, by publishing a well-written book or essay. The FBI didn't want any surprises. Project Sunshine, in which the US government, in the wake of dropping atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, ordered a major study to better understand the effects of radiation exposure nuclear fallout on the human body. So an international network of agents was recruited to locate recently deceased children and steal body parts from them to use for testing. Scary but very true. I'm an X-ray student and we talk about this a lot in class. A lot of rules and regulations regarding medical radiation exposure are all based off data from exposed Japanese citizens. Edit. Fun fact: bed or banana equivalent dose is an informal radiation unit. Bananas give off approximately 0.1 microsieverts of radiation and can be used as comparison when studying radiation exposure. Thanks for reading. Project Azorian. Project Azorian was a US Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, project to recover the sunken Soviet submarine K-129 from the Pacific Ocean floor in 1974. Using the purpose-built ship used Glomar Explorer at a cost of about $800 million, or $4 billion today. Take a giant cargo ship, hack a secret hatch in the bottom of it big enough to fit a submarine, and rig up an enormous grappling hook. Then go submarine fishing. Oh, and US military donates 2 more powerful than Hubble telescopes to NASA, out of the blue. Key fact: 1 and 2 are not only equipped with the same 7.9 foot mirrors as is the Hubble, they're also fitted with secondary mirrors that improve focusing. Yeah, the DoD got bored with having 2 more advanced than Hubble top secret telescopes on the shelf, so casually donated them to NASA. In 2012. Edit. Oh hi. Let's keep this going then, shall we? Speaking of stuff the military does better than NASA, did you know they have 2 completely robotic mini space shuttles and nobody knows what they are doing up there, sometimes for up to 2 years? Speaking of antennas, multiple countries have these super Snoopy ships. Nobody knows quite what they do, but a combination of radar, antenna, satellites let them hoover up information on everything from your cruise missile test to your phone call. America, true to form, said LOL. Not big enough at some point and built this. Lieutenant General Bering, at the time the director of the Missile Defense Agency, said that the system is able to track an object the size of a baseball over San Francisco from Chesapeake Bay in Virginia, which is approximately 2,900 miles from radar to target. This was pretty highly publicized, but just in case you missed it, they accidentally crashed a stealth helicopter that nobody knew existed at the bomb raids. Any operational aircraft, even experimental, even one-offs, are not cheap. Not even the crackpot conspiracy forums ever thought they had a full-sized stealth transport chopper. Only maybe smaller gunships. We now know they have at least 2 of them. Nobody's heard anything about them since. Submarine sonar is now so advanced that it fires lasers down kilometers of fiber optic strands in panels and measures the effect of tiny sound vibrations shaking the fiber. The limiting factor is no longer microphone sensitivity, but the background noise of the ocean. Yes, the only limiting factor to a submarine detecting another submarine nowadays is the noise of waves, shrimps farting, and the like generating white noise. Here's an article discussing the technology from 17 years ago. Speaking of submarines, some of the world's largest antennas are used to communicate with them underwater. Here's an enormous one on the west coast of Australia, covering the Indian Ocean. It's named after a Prime Minister of Australia who disappeared while swimming. The more you learn, the more you realize why some people are quite happy to believe really outlandish theories in this field. Some outlandish stuff has gone down. the Hawaiian royalty was toppled by a fruit company, dole. That's all for today's video. Hope you guys liked it. If you liked the video, subscribe. If you want to support the channel, the best thing you can do is simply watch the videos. But if you really want to see the channel thrive, subscribe, like, comment, add to favorites, add to playlist, and share with friends. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Reddit and Insta. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you with tomorrow's upload.